Good morning, student. In a previous class, we have started the chapter life processes and we have done its first topic, that is nutrition, in which we have learned about the process of digestion. We have just studied that digested food is assimilated into the body of the living organism, and that assimilated food is used mainly for two purposes. First is used as a fuel for getting energy for various life processes, and second is used as a material for the growth and repair of the body. Now we will now describe how energy is released from the food, because as soon as we eat something, after few minutes we'll get the energy. So we'll describe now how energy is released from the body, which is absorbed and assimilated in the cells of the body. So in that we come to know that food is act as a fuel for energy production in a cells. Most living things need oxygen of air to obtain energy from food. This oxygen reacts with the food molecule like glucose present in the body cells and burns them slowly to release energy. The energy is thus released is stored in ATP molecules in the cell. The body can use this stored energy whenever it wants to do. So in short, we come to know that most things need oxygen to obtain energy from the food, and after some biochemical process we get the energy. So what is respiration? So respiration is the process of releasing energy from a food. It's called respiration. Now how it can be carried out? Now see, food which we have taken as a form of glucose and with the oxygen, here oxygen done the process of oxidation, and these all processes are carried out in the cell, especially cytoplasm of the cell will get the waste product, that is carbon dioxide and water, and the most important will get the energy. These all processes are carried out in the cell, and that's why this respiration is also called the cellular respiration. In short, food, oxygen will get the carbon dioxide, water, and lots of energy for doing other life processes, which is also stored in the form of ATP. Now what is ATP? What is cell? What is cytoplasm? We already done this term in the 9th standard, but we'll recall in next one. Now the process of respiration which release energy takes place inside the cells of the body, and this respiration is also called the cellular respiration. But these respiration again is of this respiration having again one term, that is breathing and respiration. These two terms are very much different by each other, but it have a different meaning. That what is breathing? Breathing is the physical process in which we just take the oxygen and inhale oxygen and expel the carbon dioxide, which is carried out in the lungs. And what is respiration? Respiration includes, it's a biochemical process, but it's include both oxidation of food as well as breathing. Take in the oxygen and breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide. But by that, which includes a biochemical process of oxidation of food, which is carried out in the mitochondrial cell, which will get the energy, and that energy is stored in the form of ATP. Now recall 9th standard and just you come to know that what is ATP. ATP is nothing but the adenosine triphosphate. Now how that ATP is formed and where it is present? It is present in the mitochondria. Now ATP is formed by the ADP. ADP is the adenosine diphosphate. Adenosine diphosphate means having two phosphate group, one when combined with the one inorganic phosphate plus energy which are getting from the food, and it form the ATP. ATP is a adenosine triphosphate. 3 phosphate group are there, that's why it's called triphosphate. Now, whenever we are getting energy for doing life processes, how ATP breaks? ATP, whenever the ATP breaks, again it uh, uh, change into the ADP, phosphate, and will get the energy. That stored energy in the ATP is used by the body cells for various purposes like contraction of muscles, conduction of nerve impulses, synthesis of protein, and many other activities related to the functioning of cells. In short, carried out of the work. Now, next is the types of respiration. Now, respiration is of two types. One is the aerobic respiration and second is the anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is carried out by using oxygen, or we may say that it's carried out by presence of oxygen. All the organisms perform aerobic respiration. Now, second is the anaerobic respiration, which is carried out without using oxygen, or we may say that absence of oxygen. One more point I have to add in that previous class we have studied about that anaerobic respiration is performed by our muscles. Now, see in detail what is aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is performed by using oxygen or in presence of oxygen. So whatever the food we have taken in form of glucose, that glucose is converted into pyruvate, and that process is called the glycolysis, and that carried out in the cytoplasm. One molecule of glucose will convert it into 2 molecules of pyruvate. After that, its complete oxidation, it converted into CO2, H2O, and will get the 38 ATP molecules. Means by that reaction we come to know that 1 molecule of glucose will give us 38 ATP molecules of energy. That is the energy. Now, these all processes are carried out in presence of oxygen. That's why it's called the aerobic respiration. Again, I'll revise you that glucose, when converted into pyruvate, that reaction or that process is called the glycolysis, which carried out in only cytoplasm. Here, oxygen is not needed, but after pyruvate, it complete oxidation takes place in the mitochondria and will get the 6 CO2 and 6 H2O, means as a waste product of CO2 and H2, and will get the 38 ATP molecule as a energy one. Now, second is the anaerobic respiration, in that the microorganism, means this process is carried out without presence of oxygen, and that mostly performed by microorganism like yeast, which break down the glucose into ethanol and carbon dioxide and release the energy. So let's see about its reaction. Glucose in the process of glycolysis, which perform again in a cytoplasm, get converted into pyruvate. Absence of oxygen is completely converted into ethanol, CO2, and will get the 2 ATP molecule, and that whole process is also called the fermentation. Now, you maybe know that anaerobic respiration will perform by, as I said earlier, it is performed by our muscles also. So during exercise, heavy exercise, we'll get some such type of cramps in our muscles, in our thighs or in our hand. So in that position, many lactic acids are accumulated, and because of that accumulation of lactic acid will have some cramps. Now, sugarcane will get alcohol from the sugarcane or from the grapes by the process of fermentation, which is also carried out in the which also perform the anaerobic respiration. Now, this is about the types of respiration. Now we'll move to the in the differences between the aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration takes place in absence of oxygen. Second point of aerobic respiration, complete breakdown of food is occur in aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is carried out complete breakdown of food, but anaerobic respiration, there is a partial breakdown of food occurs in anaerobic respiration. In anaerobic respiration, there is a partial breakdown of food. Then third point of aerobic respiration, the end product of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide and water. Third point of anaerobic respiration, the end product of anaerobic respiration may be ethanol and carbon dioxide. Ethanol and carbon dioxide. Fourth point is aerobic respiration produces considerable amount of energy. Means we'll get the lots of energy by the aerobic respiration, and in anaerobic respiration much less energy is produced in anaerobic respiration. Means we'll not get sufficient amount of energy by the anaerobic respiration. Now we'll revise it, that hope so you all understand it, but first I think we have to revise it. So let's start from first. We have started from the nutrition, that is digestion. By we come to know that it's we are getting energy from the food, and that assimilated food is used for the two purposes, that is getting energy and growth and repair. And the whatever the energy we are getting from the food, that food is broken down by the oxygen, and the diagrammatically representation is that food, oxygen, all these carried out in the cell, cytoplasm of the cell will get the carbon dioxide, water and lots of energy. So that all processes are carried out in the cell, and hence this respiration is also called the cellular respiration. Respiration is very much opposite to the process of photosynthesis. So the processes in the process of photosynthesis, the food is made by the plant. By that, plant needs CO2, water, in the sunlight energy, in the chlorophyll. In the presence of sunlight energy, in the chlorophyll will get the glucose and will get the oxygen. Same, this process is the photosynthesis, but if we revise it, we'll get the process of respiration. Again, glucose in presence of oxygen, oxidation takes place, will get the CO2 and H2O. Now two terms are there, we have seen breathing and respiration. So breathing is a physical process which is carried out in the lungs. Breathing is just nothing but the taking oxygen, breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide. But respiration includes a biochemical process of oxidation of food which is carried out in the mitochondria in the cells, by which we'll get the energy, and that energy is stored in the form of ATP. ATP is the adenosine triphosphate. How ATP is formed? ATP is formed by the combination of ADP, phosphate, inorganic phosphate, energy and ATP. That ADP is also present in a cell only. So what is ADP? Adenosine diphosphate. When combines with the inorganic phosphate, will get the adenosine triphosphate. Now whenever we need energy, how ATP breaks? ATP breaks again into the ADP, one inorganic phosphate group, and will get the energy. And that stored energy in ATP is used by the body cells for various purposes like contraction of muscles, conduction of nerve impulses, synthesis of protein, and many other activity related to the functioning of cell. If you have remembered that synthesis of protein, in a 9th standard we have learned about the RER and SER. Now next. Now types of respiration process. Now there is two type of respiration. One is the aerobic respiration and second is the anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is carried out by using oxygen or in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration is carried out without using oxygen or absence of aerobic respiration is carried out by using oxygen, presence of or we may say that presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration is carried out without using oxygen or absence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration, in which glucose means food, when converted into pyruvate, that process is called the glycolysis, which is carried out in the cytoplasm. When it combines with the oxygen, complete oxidation takes place and will get the 6 CO2 and 6 H2 and 38 molecules of ATP as a energy. So one molecule of glucose will get the 38 ATP and molecules of energy. Anaerobic respiration means absence of oxygen In that, microorganism like yeast break down glucose into ethanol and carbon dioxide and release energy, in which reaction is like that. Glucose, when converted into pyruvate, again that process is called glycolysis, performed in cytoplasm. Absence of oxygen will get the ethanol and CO2 and will only get the 2 molecules of ATP. That process is again that also called the fermentation. Now here complete oxidation is not takes place. In aerobic respiration, that complete oxidation takes place. Lot of energy will get from the aerobic respiration, and in the anaerobic respiration will not get the sufficient amount of energy. Now here we'll end that topic, and in the next session we'll start the respiration in plants. Thank you.